Amanda, would you ever have imagined that you'd end up with a horse like Il est Francais so soon in your career?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a dream to have a horse like him, a flagship horse for a young setup that we are. He was kind of the origin of our setup, really.
Very lucky to have the confidence of his owner, breeder, Nicolas Lajeunesse and Richard Kelvin Hughes, who owns the other half of him. It's a dream to have a horse like him, and to have won Grade 1 in both France and in England is great, and hopefully we can go on to bigger and better things again.
No, it's great. They've had a fantastic start. It's become such a big yard very soon. They're doing very well. They've got a good business running, some good staff, no, it's good. It's good to be associated with Amanda and Noel. Long may it continue.
She doesn't have to go up beforehand. I just said to Marie if she can keep her in her stables for a bit.
Yeah.
So she looks nice. We were talking about setting up together. We'd found the yard, and Noel then said that he's got a client who'd like to buy a good, proper horse out of France. I was friendly with Nicolas Lajeunesse, and who's Harald de Saint-Bois, and I've known him for years. I've worked with him before. And when that horse won, Noel was at his place, I was at mine. I think Tom was in Cheltenham. And after the race, he kind of just crossing the line. We said, this is the one.
As they come towards the last, and it is Il est Francais out in front, jumps that well, leads by 4 lengths to Inodor, but Il est Francais in this hurdling debutants race is going to win it nicely.
Well, he won very impressively first time at Auteuil, so I then rang Amanda and said, look, we need to do our best to try and get him, and thankfully we managed to pull a deal off. And Richard Kelvin Hughes, obviously a big supporter of ours as well, wanted to invest as well, so it was a dream, really.
We started talking, and he had a lot of offers for him, but in the end he said, I kept my word to you guys, and that's where we started. And we made a trip down to Saint-Bois all together, and saw the horse, and the rest is history. What are we chatting about? Huh?
About the horses that are riding, but what about the next one?
Oh look, here's Nico coming with the breakfast. That's nice of Nico to buy croissant for everyone. Huh?
Il est Français. Oh.
Bra. Det är bara vid tiden.
Ouais, balader. Il est bien.
Oula. Stencil, McManus, général et il est français.
Ici là?
Oui.
He looked well coming back from his summer break, and he did really well. I wasn't blown away with his work in the morning, and then we took him to the grass and he absolutely flew. I said, look, we've got to run while he's in that form. He's improved enormously for the race. Should be hard to believe because obviously it was very impressive. But I'd say he's put on about 25-30 kilos of muscle since the race. He's absolutely flying, and he needs to improve, obviously. He's got big objectives, but at the moment I wouldn't swap him for any anyway.
And his upcoming big objective, that's the Grade 1 Prix La Haye Jousselin.
It's the big Grade 1 chase. It's almost a King George in France. There's one big Grade 1 chase in the winter and one in the spring, and this is the big Grade 1 in the winter. It's a huge race in the calendar. It's probably the second biggest race of the year, over fences behind the Grand Steep. So exciting to have a horse with a great chance going for it.
It's going to be a completely different test. It's usually heavy ground. It's over 3.5 miles. So we need to keep the cap on him and try and get him to relax. But I think even if he's in the form like he was the other day, or like he was at Kempton, he's going to take a world of beating.
Oh, very confident. The horse came out of his last run extremely well. We'd like the race to come now because he's in perfect form. So we're very much looking forward to it. And I think Noel said that he'd like it to be Kempton coming up now, but we'll go for the Auteuil race first, and then we'll head over to England.
and the King George, obviously the big focus on Christmas morning. Will you be excited?
Yeah, no, I'd be hugely excited. You know, my dad, he's placed in it numerous times. You know, I've always used to go on Boxing Day when I was a kid. You know, the horse like Nakarat used to run behind Corto Star, and Double Shuffle was second in it. So to go there with a huge chance is obviously a childhood dream. Bit of pressure as well, but no, got to take that in our stride and look forward to the day.
Well, I'm not just saying this because he won there. He's absolutely tailor-made for Kempton, because he tends to go a little bit right. He prefers to lead on his right leg, and he leans a little bit that way. It's a flat track, it suits his style of running, and the fences are they're not massive, but they're stiff. You need to jump them well, and that's what he does. He tries to clear them and not touch them too much.
Going back to Boxing Day last year, what kind of a feeling did it give you?
Obviously, I mean, enormous amount of pleasure to win back on home soil for me. It was quite a lot of pressure because I know how good he is. It's just tough to know whether they'll translate, because obviously I've grown up in my dad's. I've seen good French horses be bought and disappoint. And it wasn't the best field in the world, but I think the way he did it and the times obviously backed it up to being quicker than the King George. So, you know, it's exciting.
I mean, I don't think I realized what an achievement it is in the training ranks, because I wouldn't have heard of the Boxing Day racing in England. It's not what I've been brought up with, you know. So I know now that for Noel it was, you know, it's a childhood dream, and for us to do it in only our first year of training is just inimaginable, as you say in French.
Baptiste, Claude, Alejandro. Qui reste là? Qui l'a pas sauté? Yeah, you're jumping, yeah.
And the association with Amanda, can you just tell us a little bit how that came about?
Myself and Amanda were kind of in the same friendship group, and it was recommended to us by a few people because I needed help with the French paperwork, and Amanda didn't necessarily want to be training with the kids. So it kind of just worked out like that. Amanda said she was looking at buying a yard. I came to visit her with her, and I loved it. You know, it's just outside the town. We have incredible facilities. We have paddocks. The horses are very relaxed. Kind of just seemed to work out.
And how do you and Noel share out the workload?
Basically, I kind of run the business, the day-to-day of business, and he's on the track every day with the horses. He does most of the entries these days as well, and I kind of run also the organization with the horses coming back, because we have a lot of horses around the place, around France and England, everywhere. And I try to attend most sales around Europe. I go to Ireland several times a year, in England, obviously France, go and see breeders, pick out our young horses. We both have our tasks, and we work really well. You know, we work even without talking. We don't know each other for that long, but it just works.
So who is the biggest fan of Il est Francais between the two of you?
No.
I think we both like him a lot, but I'd say I owe a lot to him. Makes me look better than I probably am.
Who's the best at mucking out?
Ooh.
Try to avoid it, both of us, but I don't know. I'd say I'd probably do a bit more of it.
Have you ever seen me muck
much.
out? I don't think you have.
What does he feel like when you're jumping either over the schooling fences or over the big fences at Auteuil?
Well, he's extravagant in the morning and in the afternoon, to be honest. He's probably a little bit more on his game in the afternoon. In the mornings, he knows what he has to do, and he's pretty calm, to be honest. But he always feels good. He's just such a professional. He just gets on with his day job. He's a really kind horse. Likes a cuddle. Good eater. Just a great horse to be around.
You know, he's a very exuberant horse. You know, he shows that in his races. He puts a lot more effort into everything than I think he lets on, because everyone thinks he wins very easily. So that's why we like to give him freshness going into his races, but when he's good, he's very good.
I mean, if you look at him, you'll see, even as an amateur, you'll see that he's a beautiful put together horse. He's a big, scopy looking horse. Great mind, which I think is very important for a racehorse. And just his tissue, you can see there's something special about him.
The horse's name, Il est Français, it means he is French, and the paradox is that he's trained in France but by an English trainer, a Swedish trainer, and ridden by an English jockey.
The horse is very much representing France, I feel. We've moved out here because this is where I want to be. The breeding is, I think, the best in the world. The racing is very high quality.
It's a real bonus for our, our setup, our partnership. That I'm Swedish, Noel is English. We set up here in France, we got English owners, but he is French for sure.
And hopefully a horse like this with his name, he can really put French racing on the map in Britain and Ireland as well. He's representing France, and I just hope he can be a flag bearer for more French runners in the future across the channel.